Hey YouTube, Dan Otto here, coming at you with what I think is an important video because what I wanted to do was do an all nerf team and show you how you can still use these Pokemon, how they're still viable potentially. So I went Shadow Nidoqueen with the Poison Fang nerf, I went walrein with the Icicle Spear nerf, and an old school politoed with the Weather Ball nerf. Again, the team should work, right? Because like you have Nidoqueen, which is just the counters, and then walrein will deal with like Swampert that will deal with that. Politoed would also deal, there's a lot of Charizards there, so Politoed should deal with that. And I went 1-9. I went on a 9-game losing streak. And what you're going to see in some of these battles is the nerf came into play on a couple of these losses that probably would have been wins had the Poison Fang gotten faster and Icicle Spear got faster. And the Weather Ball didn't suck now. So it was a really interesting... so no, don't use this team or nerf Pokemon, in like 3 nerf Pokemon. That's why they're so down on the list. So I'm actually, while these battles are going on, I'm just going to go look up their PV Poke rankings in the Premier real quick here. So Ultra Premier. So Nidoqueen, Shadow, 57. Walrein is, non-Shadow is 23. And Politoed is 68, right? So you got one in the top 15, but then the others are down in the 50s and 60s. And it's really like the nerf of the moves, when it went up like one level, you think like, okay, that's not too bad, but it is, especially the Nidoqueen one, because the Nidoqueen's main damage you did was with the poison jabs, and just like your poison fang just lowered quickly, right? So I think I gotta take a leaf blade here, which is fine, and then I'm gonna go, and they have an Aurora in the back, which is okay. So I'm gonna resist the Powder Snows. This is a super effective Shadow Weather Ball, and it just does 50% with, and actually probably less than 50% because the Mud Shots are doing a lot of it, because Mud Shots are super effective. So I show that Meteor Beam. I should have known that it raises the attack, but like Politoed. So each of these Pokemon, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place here. I was just so frustrated with these matchups. Politoed with Weather Ball. I said it's a poor man's Swampert. Quite honestly, I would take Swampert with the worst IVs in the world over a rank 1 Politoed. That's how much of a difference it makes. Like, don't use Politoed unless Swampert's banned. Essentially, unless Swampert is banned, don't use Politoed. Even in that matchup here, like I should have got to the Poison Fang one earlier pre-nerf, and then I probably could have got 2 poison jabs there on a lower defense, as opposed to just getting Poison Fang 1 later and then only 1 after. Actually, maybe even 3, because like you have to count up the 1 to get there. So it's really frustrating how bad Nidoqueen has become with that. And Politoed is a bit glassy here too. Like, I mean, it's a Leaf Blade, so this would definitely one-shot me. So I just got shield up. I'm going to get outpaced here. There's not much you can do about it, that in Surfetch matchup. But yeah, the Poison Jab, Poison Fang nerf is substantial. Because again, if you played Nidoqueen in the past, some argue Nidoqueen in the past was too OP, because you could what was that one matchup that you should 100% lose, but you can just go Poison Fang, Poison Jab, Poison Fang, and double shield and win. I forget what it was. It was something stupid that you should have no deal winning, but you would have won if you just like double shielded when Poison Jab, Poison Fang. The problem is that one increase in Poison Fang, like it now takes, instead of going 5-5, it goes 6-6. So that extra 1 means you have one less Poison Jab on the front end, 1 less on the back end, and then you get to a second one on the, and so it's another one. So you're down, like you're behind essentially 4 boosted poison jabs in a span of 12 moves, right? Give or take that math that I just did on top of my head. So when you lose 4 boosted poison jabs, it's substantial in these matchups, especially when a lot of these matchups come down to like a few HP here and there, right? So those additional poison jabs, like I should already be at the move, and I can't, and now I gotta like waste it. It's the decrease is substantial. It makes it basically unusable. It pretty much has gone away. I have not seen it in the Great League pretty much at all, and in the Ultra League here, it's not good. I'm trying to think, like, yeah, you're probably going to get just outpaced by the Metachamp to the Psychics or Ice Punches. You are going to get lit up by Noctowl now, because Noctowl is going to outpace you. You have this Lantern, which is just going to do... I mean, you probably just go straight Earth Power on the Lantern. So maybe that's not as bad, but those Surfs are going to come super fast. And then Steels, right? Steels are going to just... You need to land Earth Powers so that Poison Fang doesn't come into play too much there. So that's that. And then Politoed, yeah. Politoed don't use unless you have... Like, Swampert is banned in a meta and you need a water. But honestly, at this point... Like, if Swampert's banned, I would probably rely on other Hydro Cannon, fast move, other Hydro Cannon starters. Like, what is that? What is that one bug? Samurott. Like, Samurott, I think, is way better than Politoed at this point. Because Weather Ball nerf is just... The strength of the Weather Ball was its spamminess that did decent damage, and they nerfed the damage like 5 or 6 seasons ago, something like that. So you're still spammy, but you're not really doing a ton of damage, so they don't really need to respect it either. So it's tough to grab shields. It's spam still, but you're now just like, instead of maybe taking like 2+ mud shots, it now takes 3 weather balls. So it's just a little, like, I think in the Swampert matchup, I don't know if it's already played while I was rambling here, like in the Swampert matchup that I had, it takes 3 weather balls from a shadow to take out a Swampert. And that's like, I think in the past I could have just been 2 plus a bunch of mud shots to take it out. So that was and that was disappointing. And then the Icicle Spear, like, same sort of problem here. Instead of going 5-4, you're now going 5-5. And so there's some of these where I probably could have got like multiple off in the old one, but I'm now, like, I'm pretty sure we CMP here. And we CMP here, and I would have had back-to-back there to force a shield. Right? They may shield anyways, but I would have gotten that off before the Blast Burn comes in, so I would have forced a shield. So it's little things like that you don't, and so they don't even shield, right? But it's little things like that come into play often, and you just don't think about it. I shield here thinking they're going to Earthquake, and I remember I got baited twice, or no, or I lost like that matchup multiple times here. And this is a perfect example. I would have been in it right now. We would have CMP'd. I'd take a Frenzy, but this would have landed here. So they got an extra Vine Whip through. So that's one extra Frenzy, like, Vine Whip through. And one less power here. And now, same thing. I would have been at it already. And now it's just like one short again. It just, it kills you. So I do just like, okay, now because I'm so far behind, I just got to farm down and probably get multiple off here on the next one. But again, I'm short one. It's just, it's... it's something. It's the Nidoqueen nerf really hurt. Anyway, so I lost 9 in a row. And now they're going to get to a move here. I'm at double weather ball, but it won't matter because they're already at a move. So that is the unfortunate sign of a nerf. And the nerf has changed. Both of these nerfs have changed. I mean, Ultra League is whatever, because I think, like, I mean, if you don't have an Aurorus, I think Aurorus is probably better now to use than Walrein. But if you don't have an Aurorus, Walrein is still decent. Like, even though it's one extra Icicle Spear, you're still, there's enough in the meta here that Earthquake is super effective against and Icicle Spear is super effective against. I think Walrein's worth still playing. It's the Nidoqueen that is substantial, in my opinion. The nerf there and what it has done in the Great League and Ultra League. Like, the Great League, you think, like, okay, what happens if you bring back Icicle Spear? Like, I don't think they'll ever do this, but what if they rebuff Icicle Spear to where it was before in the Great League? Does that change anything? Yes and no, because, like, you still have the problem of the trifecta, which is Lantern, which is going to just destroy you. I mean, you can land an Earthquake, but you're going to just severely get outpaced, and Sparks are going to add up. Your Metachamps are still going to light you up with the counters. Noctowl, sure, you'll have a better matchup against Noctowl. But then there's still a steals of, like, Registeel and Galarian Stunfisk. They're going to hit you pretty hard. So it's and Bastiodon, which will just rock you down. Anyways, so again, buffing up Walrein, even though it was everywhere at one point, is not going to substantially change the meta in the Great League right now. I think Nidoqueen buffing it back, and see, look at that. That's my second weather ball, and it's still just not in range. I need to throw a third. Terrible. I think buffing up Nidoqueen again. I don't think they will, but I think buffing Nidoqueen again would change the meta, because you would take back the Metachamp matchup pretty easy. I think you would have a better matchup against Noctowl. You can still bait and have a decent matchup. Like if you bait a Poison Fang and land a Nerf power against a Lantern, like that would probably work out pretty well for you. So I think there are a few. I think the buff would affect Great League again, but I don't know if we're ever going to see it again. Like Niantic, if there's one thing they don't do is they don't nerf and then bring it back. I've never seen that in the 14 seasons that this has happened now. When they nerf, it's usually for good, and when they buff, it's for good. Now they can adjust other moves, which they have. So like I talked about Weather Ball getting nerfed here. Pelipper was like one of the OG save swaps with Weather Ball. Weather Ball got nerfed, Pelipper dropped substantially, and then Wing Attack got buffed, and so now it's back, right? So you have the combo there. So if they're going to want to do that, they have to buff other moves to make these Pokemon more viable. I do not think that they will rebuff Icicle Spirit or Poison Fang. I 100%, not 100%, but I'm like 99% sure they will not rebuff these moves. So they're going to have to, if they want to make these Pokemon viable again, you either nerf other Pokemon or you try to buff some of these other moves. Like Powder Snow, Poison Jab, like maybe, but I don't know. We'll see. We will see what Niantic has in store. Anyways, so yes, nerfs up substantial. This is also why it's very frustrating to build up a Pokemon, because you never know. I mean, you can't think like that though. You can't think like, what happens if it gets nerfed? You can't think it like that. You just got to build for the moment. Because like, again, all three of these Pokemon, I mean, I built up Politoed after the Weather Ball nerf, but Nidoqueen I built up pre-nerf. And same with Walrein. And now they both lost their edge in Ultra League and are now just kind of like 400,000 plus dust investment, probably more Nidoqueen, just sitting there kind of useless. So glad I can use them, but I would not suggest Nidoqueen right now in the Ultra League. Anyways, that is it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.